It's Trader Dan. Today I'm going to go over a couple Nadex trades that I took. One from last week on Wednesday, I did a knockout trade, and another trade that I did was today. I had a binary option, which is what most people understand Nadex is. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you like the content. Please share, like, subscribe, everything. If you're returning, I appreciate you coming back. And if there's anything else I can do or want me to cover, let me know and I can do those things. But moving on here in this video, I'm going to show you guys in the Discord, my premium trade room that I'll link down below. On November 23rd, which was Tuesday of last week, I mentioned some analysis here and I shared some updated levels. And again, that's what I send out every day to my members so they can kind of follow along with these levels that I have. But what I say here is there was another hourly extension long sequence in NASDAQ that traded a little bit more clean or technically, which is 16,277 quarter and 16,125.75. That's these levels right here. This blue level right here, 277 quarter. You got the white level down here, a 125.75. So I'm looking at this on Tuesday night. I'm setting up some alerts, and I took last week off. I just enjoyed time with family and friends. But I was thinking to myself, maybe if we head back down to this 125, 75, 126 area, maybe I'll get some Nadex contracts and just kind of let those play and see what happens. And that next morning, right around the open, that's exactly what happened. I had some alerts ping, had some friends text me, and so I ended up going on to Nadex. I didn't have enough time to get into futures and place some orders there, so I went ahead on Nadex and I did a knockout trade. And for those that are unfamiliar with knockout trades, I did a video I can link somewhere, and that was back, I think in 2020 was the last time that I did a knockout trade, but I did one then that I think did 700% return or something like that. Which is really, really great, obviously. But I want to get my calculator out here. So I'm going to go to the images here. And, oops, let me get that back up. So we can see here that there's order sent, and there's also these order filled. So we want to pay attention to order filled, because that's when I get in and out of these trades. Okay, so I'm getting filled at 125 half, and I only had a few of these contracts. But 125 half I get filled at 9:44 a.m. on the 24th. That's when we came in to this level right here. Came right down into 125 half, got a nice little pop. And so I entered this 125 half. And for the NASDAQ in these knockouts, every point is worth $4 per contract. So when we look at the floor of this, we have a 16,116, and the ceiling is 16,266. So the floor is only 116. It's less than 10 points from when I get filled. So 125 half minus 116, that's 9.5 points that I'm risking there in the NASDAQ. And if we multiply that by 4, that's 38. So I'm risking $38 per contract for this trade. Okay? If it goes to 266 minus 125 half, that's 140.5 points. And that'd be worth $562 per contract. So getting into this trade without setting our own limits or anything, we're risking 38 a contract to make 562 a contract, and that's going to be, basically 14 times your money. So that wasn't quite the goal of this trade. The goal of this trade was to get filled, and then I was kind of trading it like a futures trade. I saw that I could have like a 10-point stop, which is pretty much what I do for the most part when I trade NASDAQ futures, and I could try to get 20 or 30 points, whatever I thought would be good. For this trade. Now I went to go set some limit orders and they got filled immediately. You can see 9:44 a.m. I'm in the trade. 9:45 I send this order for 146 half. So I'm on my phone, I'm trying to just get this order in, and so I'm immediately filled. So then all of a sudden I don't have to worry about anything else because I'm already out of the trade at 150. So I end up getting filled at 150 here. So if we do the math, we take 150 minus our entry of 125 half. And that's going to end up being 24.5 points multiplied by 4 because every point is worth $4, and that is $98 per contract. So we earn $98 per contract, and we ended up risking $38. So we're talking about 258% return on this trade for a Nadex knockout. And yeah, it took 1 minute. So 9:44 I'm in, 9:45 I'm out, and that's pretty much it. You can see I sent the order for 146 half. Basically just trying to get 20 points on this, but ended up being a little bit more because there was a better price available at that time at 150. So that's the trade from Wednesday of last week, and we can see these levels here, 125 half. I'm going to go down to a 5-minute time frame to kind of illustrate this even better. But we can see here on Wednesday we come down, and this trades at 940, comes back down at 945, and I think I actually ended up getting out somewhere at these highs, and then we ended up retesting this area because we can see this dip down into the 16,000 lower 100s. So if I had stuck around, that trade would have been stopped out, and then it would have ran. So it's a good thing that I exited when I did. But looking back at that Discord, again, this is part of the premium channel where I send out levels and analysis, and we have a premium chat room where every morning I'm sending information in there, and a couple days a week we're going live and trading together, which a lot of the members find useful. So fast forward into yesterday. So you can kind of see we have what we call this 50% short. If we draw from the high in the NASDAQ to the low, we end up seeing this 434.75. And this ended up trading last week on Thursday, and price was definitely rejected and we head lower. Then we end up running up on Monday, and I told my members, we got to be aware of this short. It's still available here. And so if we look at the Discord, this is on Monday yesterday. I'm saying that the VIX is key. We want to pay attention to the VIX, which measures volatility, and that kind of helps us. That's a different video for another time. But if we look at the NASDAQ traded a 50% short at 16,434.75. From there, the NASDAQ broke its opposing long, and next 50% short traded. So what we're seeing here is the NASDAQ is gaining momentum toward the downside. It's taking out support, and it's continuing to build short setups. So, buyers are going to be trapped, and they're going to get stuck in their position sometimes when they're trying to get long when it's, too late in the game, basically. We're talking about seeing this run up here. Clearly, buyers are still trying to get price higher, but this resistance level at 434 comes in and we just shoot right back down. So this morning, I saw this level. I actually got a short trade on futures. I didn't make a crazy amount of money. Obviously, this could have been a huge day on futures, but I exited a bit too early on that. So I still made a good chunk today, but not what it could have been. This fell like 100 points, almost 400 points from this level. So it could have been an even bigger day for me on futures, but it just wasn't that big. But for Nadex, I want to move down into the Tuesday analysis. So that was this morning. I mentioned the VIX is still the key. We have to pay attention to that. And again, that's a lesson for another time, or if you join the trade, you can kind of see some information on that. But I say the NASDAQ retested the full 50% short at 16,434.75, and it's fallen from that area. There's this potential long, other things like that. But basically, I'm also telling my members in the live room, this can become retested, and it's a valid retest until it fails. And by fail, what has to happen is we need to see price break above 513, this red level here, but we're still way below that. So until that breaks above 513, this short is still valid. Retests are still valid. That's why I got short futures. And again, I could have made a lot more money than I did. It wasn't as much as it obviously could have been. But for Nadex, it was a really great trade. So on Nadex, looking over here, I sent the order for, I wanted to sell X amount of contracts for 54 quarter. And the way the binaries work is the contracts are 0 to 100, right? So if I'm going to sell at 54 quarter, I want the contract to go to 0. So I can make $54.25 per contract, but my risk is going to be 100 and then minus the 54 quarter. So my risk is $45.75 per contract to go ahead and make $54.25. So typically, because this is almost like you're risking 1 to make 1, you're putting up 50 to make 50, it's a 50-50 trade, because we can see the strike price is 16,416. And so I got short, again, at this 434 level earlier in the morning. It's 10:30 a.m. when I put this trade in. And typically, when you're getting a strike price that is near the current action in the market, you're going to be, it's a 50-50 trade. It has a 50% chance of being in the money or out of the money. So you're going to pay 50 to make 50. In this case, I get a little bit of a discount because we're slightly above this level, so we're slightly out of the money by about 20 points. But it's still so early in the day, and this expires at 4:15 p.m. So I still have 6 hours or 5 hours 45 minutes still for this contract to get working and head into the direction that I want it to, which is lower. So looking at this trade, it's not the best risk reward you might think, because you're putting up 50 to make 50, or in this case, you're basically doing like a 55 and you're risking 45. The idea here is if you go down half the value of the trade, you want to cut it. So if we go down 20, 25, 30 bucks per contract, you probably want to cut this trade. It's not going the direction that you intended it for, or intended it to do. And so that to me is kind of like a mental stop where I'm thinking, if I lose half the value on this trade, I need to cut my losses and move on. Whereas for the knockout, I'm only, when I get filled, I'm only 9.5 points away from my stop. I'm only risking $38. I'm not gonna, get all worried and exit the trade early, because I'm only risking 38 a contract to make a very large amount. So that's why the knockout here, I'm a little bit more lenient letting it play. And the binary, I'm kind of watching a little bit more, because I'm risking 50 to make 50 essentially, and I don't want to lose more than I should on a setup like this. Now, fortunately for me, we end up just shooting lower really, really fast. And typically what happens is when I have a few contracts from this, whenever I'm risking 50 to make 50, what I tend to do is take a couple contracts off once I'm up, $20 or I'm up $30. But this happened so fast. This market started bleeding so fast. I could see that, sellers were taking control, buyers were leaving. I could just tell this was going to keep running lower, and we were not going to come back up to 414, right? 416. My strike price is 416. So price would have to come all the way back up here after falling into the 200s, then the 100s. And so I just let this thing play out. And so we see here your position has settled. Your position in the US Tech 100, the Nasdaq, strike price 416 for today, 4:15 p.m. has settled. Here are the details of your settled position. So we got the full payout, because we can see here we sold the 416. We wanted it to expire below. The expiration is 212 and then about 83. So we're basically 200 points in the money. 200 points in the money, so we're getting a nice payday there in the Nasdaq through Nadex. Obviously, like I said, futures, I had this trade, but I think I only got I want to say 30 some points off of it. So definitely could have been a lot better in terms of getting a nice winner off that 434.75 short level in futures. But Nadex was a great day, and that was kind of just like sitting and waiting for my money to kind of come to me, because I knew it was going to expire in the money based on how the market had dropped so suddenly. So something else I want to talk about, and maybe I can look at the chat a little bit, because I'm sure I sent some stuff, but let's see if we talk about, so, yeah, I took this short there. Yeah, NASDAQ will likely run up into another retest, so it's 50% short at 434.75. Immediate 15-point reaction. So I had a 15-point stop, 15-point first target. I'm just trying to get 30 points on the second. Yeah, VIX came into a long setup when the NASDAQ traded at shorts. That helps us. But we were kind of talking in the chat about this trade setup and kind of some ways to take advantage of that level. But definitely a very volatile day, and paid out well for those of us that followed our levels. But I want to talk about now Nadex, and they have this referral program going on. So you can invite your friends to Nadex. For each friend you refer, you get $100, and your friend gets $100 as well. So I'll put up a link below. But if you guys want to try out Nadex, there is a demo you can try first. I recommend demo trading before live trading. But if you do want to go live, then I'll share the link. And apparently all you have to do is sign up, place 5 trades within 30 days of applying for the account. And as long as you do that, we both receive a $100 credit to trade, and that's a win-win for both of us. We're each going to get $100 to put on some trades here in Nadex. So if you're interested, I'll put the link below. If you're interested in the trade room, I will put the link below. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to let me know. Any other videos or other things you want me to review and go over, I can definitely do that as well if you let me know in the comments. But otherwise, trade safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.